All right. I'm going to try to go live today. And what I'm going to do is look at some random Airbnbs all over the country, point out some things about the photos, the titles, descriptions, design, anything that stands out, maybe why they're not doing as well as they should. If we come across your listing, feel free to reach out to us. We'll give you a free strategy call, give you some pointers, help you. Even if you think you're doing well, there are ways to improve your listing for sure. So I am just gonna search Florida. All right, I want to find places that are towards the back. This place is a guest favorite, and it was still on the last page of Airbnb. Obviously, I'm searching Florida as the whole state, so move it over to here. So it's a little wonky, but again, guest favorite doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get pushed up towards the front. What I always try to make sure people understand is when you want to rank or you're worried about the Airbnb algorithm, you need to view it through what motivates Airbnb. What is going to want them to want your listing move forward? And so understanding that the customer or client for Airbnb is the guest, you need to view everything through the guest lens. So that is not only the guest experience, but the booking experience as well. So understanding that, the availability that you have, how far out they can book, the cancellation policy are going to be big movers, whether you offer discounts. So there's value there. There is a flexible cancellation policy. So if the guest has life changes, is a better experience for them. And so everything adds up. And then on top of that, if you can deliver a good guest experience as well, then it's a flywheel to the whole thing. So your listing can really move. If it's designed well on top of that too, then you're going to have a very popular place. So let's click through the photos real quick. All right. So a few things. Let's talk about the design real quick. So the main thing we try to get across to everyone is understanding that if you can sell trust to the guests that this is a professionally dedicated short-term rental, it is going to allow just instant value that they're going to see, right? It is dedicated to them. It's not someone's home. It is meant for their experience. They can trust that the amenities work, that the house is in good shape. And I think at just a core level that it was, cleaned properly. The sheets were changed. So a few things. The furniture just being outdated isn't going to help sell that to them. We have some older beds is really the main thing that stands out. The overall design isn't any kind of high level design by any means, but the things that stand out are the beds the most. They definitely look like either a marketplace or this was your personal home before, and that's where they came from. Right? This is selling that this is someone's personal taste for a house. Also, we don't need a dresser in every single room, depending on the closet situation for an Airbnb. And sometimes these older dressers, again, you're selling to them that maybe this is your personal dresser. So that is something that, if I could choose one thing, that's the thing that stands out the most right now, just looking at the overall design of the place real quick. But if you don't have the budget to change all the beds, things you can do that's going to make it feel more expensive is you can put up better curtains. You can, that's a big place that you can add color. You can put bigger rugs in all the bedrooms. They should go under the bed. This rug should be under the bed. It should be much bigger. Again, another place that you can add some color, some texture, some depth. A rug under this bed as well. And then the first bed that we looked at too, I believe it didn't have, yeah, this runner needs to go. There needs to be a big, 8x10 rug in here. Also, grommet curtains, the bane of our existence here. Get rid of these guys. They don't close all the way. So if these are blackout, which doesn't really quite look like they are, highly recommend blackout and highly recommend not using the grommet. The regular curtains really aren't that much more expensive. But like I said, the ones that either hang or slide through the pole, they will close better to where they actually block out the light, which adds to that guest experience, but they look more luxury as well. So those are pretty affordable fixes without having to redesign the whole bedroom. Also, I would go with all white linens if you want to add some color to the bed, which you already have a lot of color and contrast going on with these older bed frames. But I would just do all white here, white pillowcases, white duvet covers on here. Get something a little bit more full of a duvet where it looks a little bit more comfortable, soft, give that hospitality feel. That will help upgrade those bed frames a lot just by doing that. Same thing with this bed has white, but we're missing some pillows up here. It doesn't even look like it was made properly. This one was made a little bit better, but we're dealing with a quilt here. We want duvets, at least for the photographs. If it's a warm area, after the photographs, fold them up, put them in a closet, and you can put the quilts on for the actual guest. But for the photographs, we want to sell that hospitality feel. So you want the white, fluffy, soft, comfortable looking beds that look clean as well. We also add sound machines on the nightstands here. You can also add those little plugins for people's phones or anything they need to charge. Easy access for them so they're not digging around behind the bed trying to find a plug for their things. So that is some of the main things, like I said, for the bedroom. Another thing that sells that this is a dedicated short-term rental are little things like showing the soaps and shampoos in the bathroom, showing what's provided for the guest. But they have them a little bit here, which I don't really recommend the little travel size hotel things. These are very expensive for each guest, but I'm okay with just the bigger ones that you can buy on Amazon that you refill with, the very affordable shampoo, conditioner, and such. But this is a very much hotel hospitality feel right here. So, kudos to them. Like I said, my only issue with it is expensive. But if you're going to provide this, get an up close shot of it. We're wasting the fact that you do this for them without providing that up close shot. So that, and then in the kitchen, I didn't see a picture of a coffee station. We have a picture of a coffee cup. This looks more like my wife's ice cream cup, but yeah. So no coffee station, which you want to show what you provide: coffee, creamer, sugar. Ideally, not in a coffee bag. You pour it into its own jar. Same thing with sugar. And such. You can buy those jars that say coffee, creamer, sugar on them on Amazon for like $15. So it's an easy way to show the guests that, again, this is for their experience. And then I want to have the drawers in the kitchen opened up, show what's available to cook with: spatulas, pots, pans, plates, cups, everything that's available in the kitchen. Those are very, very easy fixes that almost everyone can do. They aren't super costly. This place is in dire need for an upgrade of rugs. We have all these rugs that are too small. This should be underneath the coffee table, ideally under some of the couch as well. It most likely just needs to be much bigger. Professional photos as well, too. These rooms look very, very dark, and that isn't very welcoming, and it isn't selling that this isn't your personal house again. It looks like you took the pictures while you were actively living there. So This place does have a pool, and I'll have to make sure, but it looks like it's a private pool. I don't think this seems to be a townhome or condo. Let's look at the description. So it's a public pool. It looks like it goes to the whole building, which I think is just a few of them. So uh, I go back and forth on. I don't love this as the first photo of a bedroom. I would obviously love it if it was the pool, but I do go back and forth on whether or not you want shared space to be the first photo. Some people get away with it. Some people get in trouble with that. I tend to lean towards not doing it, as a lot of guests will confuse that, and as it's not very clear in the description either. So you need to be very clear about that. But the pool is the biggest amenity that we have here. It is a shared space, so it does get knocked down a little bit. If this is part of the home right here, which I feel like it is, property grounds, I assume that's what that means, then I would use this probably as my first photo, something like this. There are some things, some tweaks I would want to do, but that would be a great photo. Even, with the sun setting would be even better out here as well. If you had string lights going on and anything else you could do outside, maybe a grill, anything else amenity wise. Like I said, the pool's a big amenity. Here's a picture of a very dirty grill. And I'm not sure, again, this looks like it might be for everyone to use. It looks like it's kind of permanent there, but yeah, another amenity would definitely help to start off the photos with. Other than that, it's a nice house. So the bones are fantastic. You need to show, soaps and, Tide Pods and dryer sheets here too. Here's that grill. So maybe it is public. Probably a photo like this, but the umbrella's open. Night shot, again, string lights out here. That's going to sell a lot of, it's going to have so much contrast going on. It's going to be dynamic enough to really get a lot more clicks on your listing. And the more clicks you get on your listing, guys, the more people will book. It's just the top of the funnel. So a lot more I could discuss about the design, but those are some easy, affordable fixes without doing a complete overhaul on the place. Back to the description. So I want more bullet points here. These are bigger paragraphs, and people tend not to read anyways. So we want to give them the best chance possible, and bullet points are going to do that. Looks a little bit better, a little cleaner as well too. And unfortunately, add emojis as well, as silly as that always sounds when I say it. I don't know if this place includes kit items, but some of the most expensive travelers right now are people with kids. So if you don't have kit items, I don't see them in the description. Maybe I scroll past it, but they're definitely not in the photos either. And honestly, I wouldn't book a place unless I saw a pack and play and a high chair in the photos. So I truly believed it was there. I have 3 little kids, and I'm not going to travel with a high chair or a pack and play. So I'm going to find a place. Even if I love this place, I love the price, I love everything about it, I'm not going to stay here if they don't have a pack and play and a high chair. The two combined is going to be, less than $120 most likely. It is well worth getting and investing in, on top of possibly some kit items as well. They're getting good reviews, so again, that's why they're guest favorite. It's a great place to be. And so let's look at some pricing and their. So I'm trying to book this right now, May 10th. So they're pushed back most likely on Airbnb because they have a pretty strict cancellation policy. To get 100% back of my booking, I would have to cancel within 24 hours of booking. To only get 50% back, I would have to cancel a week before. That's a tough deal. Not only as a guest, I need to be sure on this, like 100% sure, within 24 hours. Let me actually change the dates though. Push it out. 3-night minimums too. That's also going to hurt you on Airbnb. I understand why you're doing it, but 2-night minimums are most likely going to get rid of most of the riffraff, and they're going to push you up because Airbnb is going to find you, again, more attractive of a listing. So again, I only get 100% back within 24 hours. So 2 big things right here. The cancellation policy being pretty strict, and then the 3-night minimum. Both those things, Airbnb's filters are going to see those as negatives, and they will push you down the list because they don't want a guest to book your place as you're restrictive with those things. And they worry that a guest will need to cancel or will need to make changes or anything like that, or only need 2 nights, and your place isn't going to make sense for them. So the thing is if they have a bad experience with your listing, they are going to they'll just associate it with Airbnb. So if they have a bad experience with you, they're just going to say, oh, well, I always knew Airbnb sucked. I'm never staying with Airbnb again. And that's what they're trying to avoid. They just want them to stay on the platform. They're hoping that they book with you, have a great stay, and then book a different place with someone else in the future on the same platform. The only thing they're trying to prevent is them going to Vrbo or Booking.com or anywhere else. And let's look at some. Oh, a 7-night minimum in June too. Yeah, that's tough. Strike through pricing is something that also Airbnb likes to see. The guest likes it as well. They have a little bit more of influence to book, just some psychology there. But what we do is we mark it up and then we discount an Airbnb back down to the price that we originally wanted. So say this said 11,000, but striked out, and then it says 8,645 for 7 nights. That is just a more attractive looking booking for the guest, but also Airbnb thinks you're offering value. So they're willing to promote you more towards the front as well. So all those things stacked up together really helps push you towards the first page. There is no magical solution. It is all, there's no silver bullet. It's 1,000 little golden babies. The title, not bad. I like starting out with some kind of descriptor, some kind of adjective. Beachfront is obviously a big selling point here. That's why I probably moved this to my first photo, showing you are literally on the beach. And then, but we need to mention some amenities in here. And if you don't have any, that should be kind of a red flag that maybe you should add some. So the whole goal is, after Airbnb's pushed you forward, you still don't want to be a commodity. And with so many Airbnbs anymore, there's so many options for people. So you either have, you have 2 choices. You can either compete on price, which most people do, and everyone's essentially racing to zero, or you can compete on design. And design includes obviously the way it looks online, but the design of the actual house, and that includes amenities too. And amenities can be anything from, free coffee, something little like that, to, little string lights as well, which are affordable, to extra seating, to big things like a hot tub, pool, fire pit, game room, pickleball court, any of those things. And ideally, you do amenity stacking, and the goal really is to keep niching up to where you aren't really, either no one can compete with you or very few people can compete with you. And if you can get into that area, people aren't going to look at price too much anymore, because it's either they can book your place at that price, or they have to book a completely different place at a lower price, right? It's not like they can book the same place at a lower price. This place is on the beach. That's one way to niche up, obviously, but Florida does have plenty of those options. But there's really no other thing that is stopping someone else from competing with them. They don't have a ton of amenities that, like I said, are stacked in any way to help niche up to where they're not, just to decommoditize the place and disassociate the price point from everyone else. So that's really the goal. If you can, the more you can do that, the more money you'll make on Airbnb. And in 2026, when there's Airbnbs popping up everywhere, we're part of the problem too. You need to compete on design. If you're competing on price, you're most likely going to see your listing drop 5 to 10% every single year until you need to sell the place. So those are really the two choices in the world we live in. Everyone stepped up their game, and there's a lot of competition out there, and everything's a boutique hotel. So, all right, I'm gonna try to hop on once a day for these live streams. Give us a follow. Feel free to throw in a question in here too. Happy to answer those for you guys. And if you want to check us out, we're on Instagram at Jay's Stays, JayzStays. We do design. We help people get on the right management software, pricing software. We help with pricing strategy. We offer a free strategy call too on your listing as well, just to give you some pointers on what to do. But all right, I'll see you guys next time.